Jay Hiv, Stretford, Paddock. As you can see, I'm not outside Old Trafford for this morning's paper talk. I'm actually in my house, so I've not got my parker on. But if you want a weather report, looking out the window, it looks a bit cold. So if you are going out, put your coat on, whether that's a parker or not. Getting into the news this morning, obviously a lot of the talk centres around United's game against Paris Saint-Germain in the Champions League tonight, the Group H game. Now, as it stands, Manchester United, if we avoid defeat, we can go through. We can qualify, which, is happy days, considering when people looked at that group, they thought, hang on a minute, Leipzig even, Paris Saint-Germain, this could be a tricky one. This could be a group where United struggle, of course. In the Champions League, we've had a very sort of patchy record in it over the last few years when we've been in it, of course, because we've not always been in it. But we are top of the group, so if we avoid defeat tonight, we can go through. And obviously, if we win, we go through as top of the group, I think. I think that's how that pans out now. Ahead of the game, Thomas Tuchel, the Paris Saint-Germain manager, has been speaking, and he's been speaking about one of my favourite subjects, Marcus Rashford, and he's been pretty honest about what he says about Marcus Rashford. He's actually called him a bit annoying. He said, "We value him very much when he plays in England and not Parc des Princes, honestly, because it gets a little bit annoying, because him scoring against us gets a little bit annoying." I think him scoring against us is sort of what he was alluding to there. I've met him as an opponent 3 times, and every time I've met him, a calm and humble guy and a nice person, which is amazing. I like this mixture a lot. For me personally, the sporting side is clear. He's a big threat with his speed, with his ability to score, with his determination and his finishing. He's very precise, taking shots inside and outside of the box. He's super rapid on counter-attacks and strong in the air with headers. Okay. Listen, I love Marcus Rashford. I don't know if heading is his main attribute, but we'll go with it. He's had a big impact, and it's nice to see guys like him from the academy having such a big impact in a big club like United. Have been very nice there, hasn't he, the Paris Saint-Germain manager? You can't really ask for more there. He's talking a lot of sense. I think some of us could learn a thing or two about it. Obviously, Marcus Rashford scored the winner in Paris earlier in the season in the group game, scored the decisive goal, the penalty 2 seasons ago when we played them in the Champions League. So you can understand why the Paris Saint-Germain coach is saying that he finds Rashford a little bit annoying, because he keeps popping up with important goals against Paris Saint-Germain. And let's hopefully he can get one tonight. It's not the best season, Marcus Rashford, so far, but he's been very effective. I think he's got 7 goals so far. And you saw it on against Southampton, at the weekend. Wasn't having the greatest game, but he still pops up with the assist for Cavani's late winner. So that's great to see. Marcus Rashford being effective. The opponents obviously respect him. Let's not forget as well, Marcus was linked with Paris Saint-Germain. In the summer, there was all these reports coming out, weren't there, that Paris Saint-Germain were about to make this sensational summer transfer bid. I think we covered it on the paper talk, and I sort of said, I don't see that happening. I can see the interest happening. I just don't see him going to Paris Saint-Germain. I think the only issue there was, were Manchester United going to sort of kick on, and were they going to provide the sort of the players around Marcus Rashford that you'd expect? Because we know he's a die-hard Red, but we know he's a player that wants to win things. And I think if you look at the team, Marcus Rashford can look at his team and think, I'm in a strong team. So I don't really think there's an issue there where he'd be looking at it going, well, if I stay here, I'm never going to win anything. So despite the fact I'm a United fan, I may need to move on from my career. I think he's happy. I think he's got good players around him. And I think that despite the offer or the interest from Paris Saint-Germain, that sort of is a bit of a non-starter, but it is good to see that they respect him, because they respect him for the right reasons, not just what he's doing off the pitch, but the fact that he's being effective, and he's had a good record against them with the 2 goals that I mentioned, and hopefully he'll add to it tonight. In terms of transfers now, we're getting into that sort of time now, aren't we, where sort of rumours and transfer news starts coming up, and people start talking about this player and that player and who United could be linked with, and whether we're going to get someone in January. And one player that has been linked with United, and he was linked with United in the summer. I remember covering this again in the paper talk, and it's popped up again. And that's Brighton's Ben White. Now, this has been doing the rounds this morning on a few different outlets. I think Sky Sports have had it in a few of the newspapers as well. And it says that United, Tottenham and Chelsea among the clubs monitoring the development of Brighton's Ben White. One of the reports here on Sky, it says the 23-year-old has been impressive for the Seagulls this season after returning from a loan at Leeds, where he helped them win promotion to the Premier League. White has started all 10 Premier League games so far in a back 3 with Lewis Dunk and Adam Webster, including the 1-1 draw with Liverpool last time out. Now, he's ranked, if you look at the rankings, I think it's Y Scouts Index rankings that Sky Sports have used. White is ranked the fourth best performing centre-back in the league, behind Chelsea pair Kurt Zuma, Thiago Silva, and Arsenal's Gabriel. I'm a bit surprised that any Arsenal players are in the top three there after the season they've had, but, okay, we'll go with it. So there could be something in this because, as I said, we covered this before in the summer and it's popped up again, and it looks like the interest may be real. He's having a good season at Brighton. He had a good season at Leeds last season, helping them get promoted. Going back to Brighton, doing well in there, doing well in the back three. Now you have to wonder whether that is maybe something that does attract Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to Ben White, because we know that Ole does like to play at back three sometimes. I'm not saying that Ben White can only play in a back three. I'm sure he can play in a sort of a flat back four or as a part of a centre back pairing as well. But it wouldn't surprise me looking at someone like that. And the thing is, at 23 years old, he's a really good age. And that sounds daft. What do you mean a good age? But he's got a little bit of experience. He's still quite young. And obviously, you'd expect him to improve. Got Premier League experience, come through in the Championship. We know how tough that can be. So that's one to keep an eye on. We will keep you posted, whether that's in January or in the summer. It may well be a summer move then. You'd be surprised if Brighton were going to sell someone who's played 10 games for him this season. They're struggling near the bottom of the table. He's obviously playing really well for him. Are they going to sell him and bring someone into the same quality? Probably not. So I'd be amazed if Graham Potter was going to the board. Okay, yeah, we can let him go in January. May well be one for the summer to keep an eye on, and obviously we will keep you posted. A lot may depend on injuries and what goes on. We know we've got the likes of Axel Tuanzebe still on the books. Phil Jones, it looks like he's the forgotten man. He's still a Manchester United player. Players like Eric Bailly as well, Max Rowe. So we'll have to see what happens with some of the players we've still got at the club, whether they're moved on, whether they actually get a chance to improve themselves. So lots of ifs and buts there, but you can understand why there's interest in Ben White. Seems like a very talented young defender who's proven himself in the Championship and is now proving himself in the Premier League. It's almost like what Axel Tuanzebe did, didn't he? He went to the Championship, did really well, helped Villa get promoted. But then that second season, when you wanted him last season to kick on and show he could do the Premier League, just had an horrific time of it through injuries. Not his fault, obviously. But again, this season, like tonight, he's suspended. He got that yellow card, didn't he, obviously, in the last game. So he's suspended. And this would have been a game perhaps he could have started, because Tuanzebe played really well in Paris. Would have liked to see him maybe start tonight against the likes of Neymar and Mbappe. You know you're going to be facing tricky, fast attackers, and he handled it really well last time out. So it's a bit of a shame for him. We'll see how his season pans out. But Ben White, put him in the possible category. Yesterday, just in case, just to round up, you didn't see it, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was addressing the Edinson Cavani story. We know that he posted something on social media that's got him into a little bit of trouble. And I like the way Ole sort of handled it. I won't go into it too much. We spoke about it on the brew. We spoke about it on the podcast as well. But he could be facing a fine and a bit of a ban. I think he could be facing a 3-match ban because they've sort of moved the minimum now. It was one game for this sort of stuff. That's why I think Bernardo Silva and Dele Alli got 1 game, but now the minimum I think is 3. Ole was speaking about it ahead of the game, and he just said there was no malicious intent at all. It was just an affectionate greeting to a friend of his, but we explained to him he has been asked by the FA to explain, so we'll cooperate with him and we'll support him. It's one of those unfortunate situations where he's coming to the country in Uruguay, and in Uruguay, he's been using a different term of affection to what we have. So we support him. And this is what I thought was quite good from Ole, because I think you have to be balanced and you have to be sort of, slightly objective with it. We support the FA. It's important the FA. I've asked him to explain, and it's out there for everyone to see, because we want to be in the fight against discrimination. So I think that's what's been missing sometimes with clubs in different situations, is there's been no sort of, okay, didn't mean it, but, we understand why people are looking into it and we're going to cooperate. Sometimes people just sort of circled the wagons and said, oh, well, they didn't mean it. There's no issue here. Stop being silly. So Ole's been quite open and honest there, and we'll see whether Edinson Cavani does get a ban. But he's not going to be banned tonight, so he could start, especially after his performance against Southampton. And hopefully, like Marcus Rashford, he can get in, like he has in the past, getting the goals against PSG. Cavani can join him. So United, obviously, a big game tonight. We'll be having that on the watch along. We'll have also the fan cams. We'll have all the live review afterwards as well. So make sure you're watching Stretford Paddock later on. I've been Jay. I've not been outside Old Trafford, but we'll be back there soon. Don't panic. Hopefully as well, fans will be back there soon. We'll have to wait and see what happens with the old tier system. I think the 16th of December is when we can have a review of that. And if Manchester is dropped out of the tier 3 into a lower tier, then we may be able to get some fans back in the ground, which is what we all want to see. So don't forget to hit like, share, and subscribe. If you're not a member, check out the membership as well. We've got some great offers there where you can get some good goodies. We're giving away t-shirts, giving away some Andy Cole autobiography, outstanding. I don't know if that's what it's called, but that's what I think it should be called because of his song. And also, you can be in the draw to win a PlayStation 5. So loads of good stuff there on the members front and some extra member content. But we'll have all the good content on the main channel as usual. So make sure you're hitting that subscribe button. I've been Jay. This has been the Paper Talk. Thanks for watching.